Welcome back to A Cinderella Story with a Twist. Today I want to sit with you in a topic that most people try to rush through or tidy up with nice words. We are going to talk about grief. And grief can show up in many forms, and you may experience it in a very different ways through your life. And of course, there is the grief of losing a loved one because they pass. But there's also grief for a situation. Grief for the version of you that you had to leave behind. Grief for a relationship that ended, even when you were the one who chose to walk away. There is grief that looks like heartbreak, and grief that looks like anger or numbness or quiet emptiness on a Tuesday afternoon when life looks fine from the outside. Now, in this episode, I want to share a few seasons of grief from my own life and how they showed up in my body and what I wish I had known earlier about riding those waves instead of drowning in them. My hope is that while you listen, you hear pieces of your own story and feel a little less alone inside. Let me start with this. I lost my grandparents when I was very young. So in a way, death was not new to me, but it also didn't touch me deeply yet. The first grief I really remember consciously as an adult was when I was in my 30s and my stepfather passed away unexpectedly. We were pretty close. He was a steady figure in my life. And yet when he died, I did not feel the grief in the way that people might expect. And it was during COVID. I had just gotten divorced. The whole world was upside down. I was navigating my own transition, and travel restrictions meant that I could not fly back to my home country to be with my family and to be present at the funeral. So I was physically far away. And internally, I was deep in the grief of ending my own marriage and the chaos of reinventing my life in the middle of a global freaking pandemic. So on the outside, my stepfather's death was a big loss. But on the inside, I felt distant, almost numb. And maybe you've had that too, where a loss happens and you think, why am I not feeling this even more? Is there like something wrong with me? But looking back now, I can see that my emotional bandwidth was already full. My system was using the available energy to process the grief of my own divorce and the shock and all the changes and the pandemic. And there was simply no extra capacity to process another big loss fully in that moment.